Hey, everybody. Thank you for joining me and welcome to a special early broadcast of Poe and the Gove here for Sundays. We're waiting for Tony to jump in and join us for this one. So before we even get started, we'll do things the normal way that we start everything off, and we're going to bring in our old pal, Clearwater Chad. Chad, how are we doing today?
Great, thanks, Poe. Thanks for having me on. We'll get right to work. Temperature in Clearwater is 84, precip is 0, humidity 62, and according to Roscoe's chopper, the wind is at 6.
There we go. I got to keep an eye on that dog. I didn't know he was out there messing around with that chopper again. But how have things been going on your channel? I see you're putting out a lot of content lately.
Oh, great! Yeah, we're having a lot of fun with the artwork and everything.
Excellent. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting together with you and Marilyn and doing the live stream with the crafting and such. Folks, I know a lot of you were asking why I coming on at this time instead of my normal time. And the reason being is Tony is extremely busy. As you all know, he's doing the daily coverage of the Danny Masterson trial in LA. And he's putting out content daily. So make sure you go over, hit his channels, make sure you see what's going on with him. He's been one of the frontline people in this whole march against Scientology and what they're doing for decades now. You've got Paulette Cooper, then you got Tony Ortega as some of the mainline people in the world of journalism who are taking on the Church of Scientology, but there's so much more to him than just that. And with the fact that he only has a small window of opportunity to do these things, we decided we would bump it up forward and hold it at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time so that Tony would be able to make it on. And then I will be back later tonight at 8 o'clock for my normal 8 o'clock live stream. We're going to discuss the one of the major problems that we see with as things are starting to get a lot closer together with the world of the internet and everything, and how you can easily obtain products and whatever you need, and the growing number of people that are impersonating police officers, the damages that they're causing, the fear. There are actually people who are being hurt. There's, so many different things. We're going to be going over this tonight, some of the possible reasons why people are acting the way that they are acting, what they're doing, how these things are being handled. And it's just all around, it's a big mess with these folks. And there's a ton of them out there. Videos are coming up every day on this stuff. So that's one of the things we're doing. And I see that our pal Claire, are we working with colored pencils or markers today?
It's one of these fancy, water-resistant marker crayon thingies.
Oh, yes. My daughter, those are expensive too.
Yeah, they are.
I remember, Lord, 5-6 years ago. Well, no, it's been longer than that. Probably 10 years ago, we bought a set of those for our daughter. It was like 20 markers, and we paid something like $200 for it. And I honestly couldn't see much difference between those and going out and get some of those Crayola water pens.
Well, expensive to Chaz over here is $20 plus a 40% coupon, but they're still pretty expensive.
Yeah, and you know what? They know that if you want what is considered the best when it comes to the art equipment, that you're going to pay the money for it. Some things that are coming up on the channel. I've been doing a lot of work with the AP Laser. As you know, AP Laser has been a big sponsor and supporter of my channel, and I've been putting a lot of content together. I'm just editing it all out. If you know anything about editing, you literally film for 20-30 minutes and you're going to edit for 6 hours, and it's enough to drive you crazy. So I've got a lot of content coming out with the AP Laser. We're really going in a lot of different directions. You see a lot of people out there that are doing the laser work and things like that, and they stick into pretty standard categories. Well, I'm going a lot deeper into some crazier things, and hopefully one of them doesn't kill me. But one of the projects I've got coming up is insane. Also, as you all know, I have been in art and doing artwork since I was a child. And one of the things I dabbled in for a while there for a few years was a friend of mine taught me how to do it. And I was doing tattooing. Now, I wasn't doing it professionally. I was more or less being tutored for a number of years while doing it. And I had to stop because of the nerve damage in my hands. And I wasn't able to actually do the tattoo work because the old style coil tattoos, they vibrate so bad that with a nerve damage, they hurt so much I couldn't keep tattooing. So I'm going to be checking out one of these new rotary tattoo guns and see how that works and see what I think about it. You can literally get them off Amazon for about $30. We're going to see how good that actually is. So folks, if you got any questions out there while we're waiting for Tony to jump in, go ahead, throw those questions up there. There's a lot to talk about. I mean, there's a ton of stuff's been going on in the world of Scientology. You got the Danny Masterson case. You've got Claire Headley is testifying. The different things that are going on there. The judge really seems to be not so in line with putting up with the garbage that's coming out from the COS lately, their attorneys, and is sticking up for the victims in these cases a lot more. From a poet, you need a new tattoo. Well, I'm more than happy to help design it if you want something like that. But yeah, I haven't touched a tattoo gun in years. Let's see, what do we got? Oh, Aaron's coming on in a few minutes. Also, I did not realize that this was the only time slot I really had, and we're still waiting for Tony to get in here. I don't know. I'm checking on the messaging and everything. Nothing yet. Chad, why don't you, while we're doing this, why don't you tell us what you're doing there? I've been watching your live streams lately where you've been doing your artwork.
Oh, actually, yeah, that's a good point, Poe. Well, I do take requests. So if anyone requests anything, like we're doing Smurfs over on my channel, we're doing Drew a Monkey the other day.
I want a Cobra.
Okay, yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, I'll work on that for sure. And no, we're having fun. It's a free show every Monday, and it's very fun. We're gonna have a lot of special guests on every Monday. Anyone's welcome to.
Oh yeah,
to be a guest.
I think I find it calming, honestly, to watch you sit there doing the artwork. So, Lily Rose, I used to do artwork, but after my shoulder replacement surgery and fibro, I can't do it anymore with all the nerve damage. I understand exactly how you feel about that. There's a lot of things I can't do anymore. I can't play guitar. I can't, there's a lot of things. I don't have the manual dexterity in my hands like I used to. And that's all because of the stupidity of the things that I did over the years. And I know a lot of you saw the posts I've been putting up on the community pages and on the on Facebook. And yes, I was down in Kentucky yesterday. We went down to our family property down in southeastern Kentucky, visited our family cemetery down there, and really interesting. When I go down there, I take all my snake hooks and everything, see what I can run into snake wise. I love venomous snakes, and Kentucky's really good for they have a lot of copperheads, a lot of timber rattlesnakes, things like that. And used to, when I was young, they were everywhere. So the way it is our family cemetery is on top of this very large hill, and it has a road that literally circles around to get up to the top of it. Well, the problem is that family who've been maintaining the property, they let the road go. That's the road that leads up to the cemetery is no longer, you can't get up there by vehicle. And now we were in a 4-wheel drive and it still wasn't going to make it to the top. You needed something like a tractor or something like that to get up there. And so my mom, she's 76 years old, and you wouldn't believe it. I mean, she's like a little packet of nitroglycerin. That woman's something else. She says, I'm just going to walk up. And so she starts walking, and I'm like, well, this is great with my blown out knee. Let's see how this does. So I started walking up behind her, and she had walked by this one little gully or rut in the road, and just walking her way up to the top. And when I get up to it, I look down, and there's about a 3-foot timber rattlesnake coiled up in that little rut in the road. And I'm just sitting there. I'm like, I can't. If she had seen this, she would have probably either had a heart attack or fallen and rolled all the way back down that hill. And it was just amazing because when I used my snake hooks, picked it up, and I put it over to the side and let it go on off into the woods. And we got to the top, and Mom says, well, I think God's watching out for me because I've never seen a snake on my way up here. And I just didn't have the heart to tell her that she had literally just walked by a 3-foot rattlesnake on the side of the hill there. So, let's see, Lily Rose. Back in the day, I used to paint motorcycle gas tanks with a paint gun. I miss it so much. Yeah. Airbrushing, I've played with it. I've never actually been much, I've done the automotive painting, but I've never really done the airbrushing. Used to like to do, I had a set of the, pinstriping brushes and all that. I used to like to do that too. My problem is being able to completely mirror the work I've done on the other side. But I liked a lot of the pinstriping work and all that. SPTV Tattoo Warrior. I could have had you do my SPTV. I could have helped design it, but yeah, I can't. Like I said, I haven't touched a tattoo gun in so long. I don't even know where I would start anymore. Let's see here. Let's take a look at all the different questions we got here. We're still waiting on Tony. I don't know what's going on. All right. Let's see. Just say hello, Goldie. Thank you, Boss Mama, for being here. Really appreciate you. Jay Dice, Colonel Brock. I know we've been playing around calling you Colonial Broke, but Annie Beachcomber. Wow, it's great to see a lot of you in here today. Thank you all for coming back. And remember, I will be back at 8:00. I'm going to be doing the live stream about police impersonators and the problems with them.
And Chad will be back too.
Yes, and Chad will be back for that one as well. B. Baron, Chaz is strict, but sometimes I just need to be chained down for a few days. I have access to a typewriter, so that's good. So, B. Baron, waiting for Aaron to show everybody my new. Okay. There's a Oh No Nora T-shirt. Yeah, there's a lot of merchandise coming out. I actually have something coming out pretty soon here. I'm waiting to make the big announcement. We're waiting to sign some final agreements on things, but I have something that no one else is putting out right now in the SPTV verse, and I think it's going to be pretty interesting. Tawny Cameron, I have multiple sclerosis, handshake, but I have adapted to be able to draw sort off, but painting ends up a mess. I can hear you on that one. Yeah, the nice thing about with drawing is, especially if you're using pencils or colored pencils, maybe your pastels, things like that, is the amount of pressure that you put on there determines what you're going to be doing with it. Unfortunately, with paint, because it's a liquid medium, it gets to be messy, and even if you don't have hands that shake, painting's a lot of fun. Not all of us can be professionals like Clearwater there. Ex-Scientologist, have you ever done any Scientology courses or auditing, been in a Scientology org? I have done no courses, no auditing. I read part of Dianetics and literally threw it out in the trash after about the third chapter. Scientology org, if you go back to my live stream from Tokyo, I talk about the fact that I had just been in the Scientology Ideal Org Tokyo and had been thrown out. Apparently they recognized who I was. I had been live streaming from, I believe, Malaysia, Thailand, and I had put it out there that I was going to do a special live stream from an unknown location. I show up and I walk in the door. They recognized me and pretty much just told me I had to hit the bricks. So yeah, that was a fun one. Jennifer M. Scientific studies have shown that any ant can carry 100 times its own weight, but there's no known limit to the lifting power of the average tiny old grandmother. Here's your mom. Oh, I'm telling you, 76 years old, you'd think she was in her 40s or 50s the way that woman moves. She is incredible. And like I say, she's like a little pack of nitroglycerin. Let's see, Veronica Bombria, do you have any recommendations on how to annoy my very small local Church of Scientology? I would refer you to Nasty Nathaniel on that and First Amendment auditing. They go out there and they stand out on a public sidewalk and they film. And believe me, you start watching these First Amendment auditors, people start freaking out on that stuff. Colonel, did you ever deal with a criminal like Danny Masterson? I never really dealt with any celebrities that were criminals, but I dealt with some really interesting cases. And that's something I'll get into a little bit down the road on that. But yeah, I've had some really interesting cases when it deals with the assault in that nature, and it's the people that get caught up in that stuff are, I just don't know how to describe it. Lily Rose, I used to do portraits in chalk too. Now I have trouble doing crafts with my grandchildren. Yeah, you add into it if you have any pre-existing problems that are going on, and then you add to it the fact that as we age, we start losing mobility, we start losing the finer points of being able to do artwork, and it can certainly it takes down your abilities a notch. Although I've got to say that the older I get, the better I am with the actual fine tune and the softer touch of things. When I was younger, and of course, when I was lifting weights and I was doing the Muay Thai and everything, I wasn't so good about soft touch on things. But the older I've gotten, the better I am at it. Let's see, and as always, you guys always have some great conversations going on back and forth.
Yep.
Boss Mama, how is marriage treating you? I'd love to hear how the first couple of weeks of marriage for the Queen Goldie have been, and see how it feels.
Yep.
Annie Kurtz, thank you, Annie, for becoming a new member of the channel. We appreciate it. Everyone who is a member of the channel, make sure you message me. I need to start getting addresses so I can get the special gifts I've made for everyone who is part of the membership here for the channel. This originally I was going to do the t-shirts, but I found something I think that you're going to like a whole lot more. And as I said, be ready here in the next week or two. I'm going to make a big announcement. I have a brand of merchandise that's going to be coming out. No one else is in the SBTV verse is doing. So if you are a member of the channel, make sure you're getting me your address or PO box where I can send the gift to you. B. Baron, how can a catch wrestler be good at soft touch anyway? Yeah, well, actually, when it comes to competition grappling in any form, it's not always about the strength. I like what they call anacondaing when it comes to, or python, boa, the constrictor style, where you can literally just close your eyes and you feel what your opponent's doing, and then you make your moves according to that. Sometimes, if you focus so much on just watching what's happening, you miss out on what is actually going on. And if you close your eyes and you sit there and you feel the movement of your opponent, you can tell, okay, his legs are stiffening up, his arms are stiffening up, he's starting to relax on his back, he's going to try to do a flip or a roll under, something like that. Those are the kinds of things, and the soft touch actually comes into play with that. It's just the fact that I was, lifting weights like crazy, Muay Thai, which there is no soft touch in Muay Thai, and that was keeping me going there. Angel Hugger, are you aware of Trilogy Media and the work they do to take down international scammers and child predators? They show their work or two. Yeah, I've seen a lot of their stuff. I forget what his name is. He is from Britain, and he is he's one of those guys who hacks the hackers, especially over in India. And what I see a lot with his work, I really like. I love the one where he actually found out the names of the hackers over in the Indian call centers and calls them up, and he goes, "Well, why are you saying that, Priya? Why are you saying that, Antonia?" And you watch them just freaking out. Yeah, I love what those guys are doing. It's also very dangerous, because when you're dealing with a different country like that, especially someplace like India, and there's been a lot of corruption and there's been a lot of payoffs for law enforcement. And these folks have literally said that if they catch these guys, they're going to shoot them and kill them. So yeah, I applaud them 100%, because they are actually going head to head with an industry that is literally stealing billions of dollars a year. And they're targeting the most vulnerable of our society, which are our senior citizens. So I applaud them 100% in what they're doing. I've actually reached out, and I'm just waiting to see what is, see if there's anything I can do to help in those areas. Because quite honestly, I'm not afraid to go in and go right to these caller scams and these scammer call centers and confront them face to face. I think that'd be pretty cool. Colonel Brock, is it true the reticulated python is the only man-killing constrictor? No. You have the reticulated, you have the Burmese have been known to do it. The anaconda has been done. The green anaconda, yellow anaconda doesn't get as big. I don't do a lot of work with constrictors. I've had some really bad experiences that have ended up putting me in the hospital with dealing with constrictors. They're and I know everybody's going, wait a minute, you deal with cobras and you deal with, but constrictors, when you're talking about a snake that's 18, 19 feet long and its head is literally about that big. And when they bite, they're 200 teeth that are literally like that. So when they dig in, you can't just pull out. You have to literally get someone to get their upper and lower jaws and get ready, and you push forward and they pull the mouth apart at that point. And that's if you're getting around the fact that they've already wrapped you and they're trying to constrict you on top of it.
Oh, you should consider doing another special on snake bites.
Yeah, I ain't dealing with them constrictors. You bleed like a stuck pig from them things. Edna, I think this is the first time I've seen you on here, Edna. Thank you for joining us. Watched Going Clear last night, and I'm currently reading Blown for Good. Been reading it nonstop since I downloaded it from Kindle. I can honestly tell you, watching Going Clear and then reading Blown for Good, and there's a few other books that I've been reading. Yeah, addiction level 1000. You can't stop watching this stuff, reading this stuff. There's a lot of other good books out there. And if you start looking on the internet, there are some great articles written about the connection of L. Ron Hubbard and Aleister Crowley and the black magic and the kinds of satanic and cult type, I don't know what they call them. They were summoning sessions, things like that. It's truly bizarre, truly insane. It's a lot of blood and sex magic, and it's, wow. It's crazy. Cindy Wilson, Poe and Chad, I just want to thank you both for what you do. Any good in the world that makes the world a better place. And that's one of the things I like, and that's one of the reasons why I started this channel, is I wanted to make sure that we're building a community here where we support each other. And like we were talking about with Marilyn and Chad, and we're going to be doing this live stream showing 3 different types of crafting at the same time on a live stream. And I think that it's all about is sharing with everyone. And I posted on the Facebook page, I believe it's called Coffee, Cults, and Crafts. And that's Marilyn's Facebook page she put together. And one of the things about it is we have to remember, a lot of folks, I don't have the talent. I can't do this. I can't, you know what, folks, stop being negative about yourself. Give it a chance.
If Chad could do it, you guys could do it. Okay. You just got to 10x it, and that's all you need.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think a lot of folks who, you're your own worst enemy when it comes to something like that. Just believe in yourself. And you know what? You may not be able to paint. You may not be able to draw, but you might be able to sew. You might be able to crochet. You might be able to knit. Just because you can't do one form of art doesn't mean you can't do any of them. You might be able to play the piano, play the guitar. And, it's you have the talent. Just please believe in yourself, because you know what? We believe in you. And we believe in you. Half the battle's won. All you have to do is convince yourself you can do it.
If I can interject more time. And if you don't try, then nothing's going to happen. But if you try and just keep doing it, it gets better every week. You think Chad's palms look like this the first time? I don't think so. I
can't even do palm trees, to be honest with you. I don't know what it is. Mine always just look like some blob. Let's see, Colonel Brock, am I still writing a book? Well, I have written a book that was published many years ago. It was Captive Care and Husbandry of Large, Aggressive, and Venomous Reptiles. It's quite the read. But people have been asking me if I'm going to write a book about my life. We'll see. I might, if I do something, it'll be one of those straight to digital, not the actual printed kind. But I might be interested in doing it. I'm one of those that I'm willing to share my story, but actually putting it down to writing is a little bit different. Shauna P. Law Nerd. Oh, I like that. I second the comment from Cindy. Love some SPTV bros. That's the thing is that we're all becoming this big family. And I was talking to someone and I said, we need to, all right, move it over more. We can't see it.
My sign's back in 30 seconds. I'm going to get some
you taking a 10-second?
Yeah.
So that's the thing is this. I was talking to someone. We've been talking about what we should call this. I honestly I think we should call it the SPTV verse. There's so many people now. SPT TV Tattoo Warrior. I play handbells and I could play the music. And that, there it is. You may not be able to draw, but there's something out there. You just take the chance, take the opportunity. My son right now plays bass guitar, plays mandolin, plays banjo, plays harmonica. I mean, the things that boy's doing. And every week and it's not like he doesn't know what he's doing. He can play them really well. And then he moves on to the next instrument. An elite, it appears to me the cult became a lot worse after L. Ron died. It would certainly appear to me that it intensified under the Keebler Kings authority. Became much more dramatic, much more drastic in the way that it did things. And I think that a lot more intense. That's the bad thing about it. From a poet, always been my worst enemy when it comes to my writing. Yeah, it's so easy nowadays to be sitting there and going, man, I need to get in there and take care of this. But Mr. Beast just put out a new video, or Penguin Zero put out a new video. Oh man, Aaron's putting out his 13th video for the day. You know what? I got a few minutes. I'll sit and watch these to see what's going on. So yeah, believe me, I know how it is. And here we go. Shauna P. Law Nerd, world-class procrastinator, but I even made a clip from the Oh No Nora's shorts. We've got this, y'all. Yep, exactly. And I think that, especially like with myself, procrastination is something that I deal with and a lot of people do. And I think that it's just a matter of you just have to dial yourself in and you have to be determined and driven to do what you do. Julianne Bittencourt, you may not be able to do it perfectly, but you still might have fun doing it. And that should be the priority. Exactly. Art is about the expression of oneself. And if you're doing it for the approval of others, then you're doing art for the wrong reason. Unless you're doing, tattooing, something like that. But for the most part, personal art should be the expression of yourself. I don't even believe in art schools. I know that there's a lot of people go to them. I know that there's a purpose for them, but me personally, I don't have any use for art schools. So give me 1 minute. I have to go check on something real quick here and see about what's going on. I'm going to leave it to Chad to do a little bit of instruction here. Just give me about a minute, folks.
Sounds good. Okay, now we got total control. Okay, now we're going to have some lemonade. No, but anyways, guys, don't forget later this month, Chad will be coming on this channel, Poe on the Go, and revealing his newfound wisdom later this month. As you know, Chad's in a deep state of meditation for the month of May, and it will be going back on the Poe with some revelations. Thank you guys for your support. I enjoy doing the drawing and painting with you guys. And don't forget, Chad's live tomorrow. We'll have some special guests. I don't want to disclose them yet because that might wreck the surprise. But we're going to have some special guests tomorrow, Monday. And I'm amazed at all support that Chad has. It really means a lot. You guys are great. Especially Goldie. Goldie's number one, all right? And B. Barron's number one, too, all right? B. Barron is Aaron's cousin. And if anyone disagrees with that, they're guilty of crimes. Ever drive over to the Space Coast? Poe, if your computer's set up tomorrow, you can come on, too.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, I'll be more than happy to join you. Sorry about that, folks. Still no word from Tony, and I'm hoping everything's okay with him. I'm hoping that he is, if anything, it's just a matter of he just got some breaking news came in or something like that, but I hope everything's good with him. Let's see. I'm getting back to these questions. Folks, you got questions? Come on, give them to us. Julian Bittencourt, we love Chad. Yeah.
Right back at you.
Yeah, Chad came on and, he very limited knowledge about YouTube. The same with me. I just started earlier. and he's been working really hard. He's been busting his butt trying to get this thing up and running, and I think he's doing a great job. And that's one of the reasons why he's honestly a good guy. So that's one of the reasons why, well, myself, Apostate Alex, Doug Kramer, we've welcomed him in, and he's part of the Four Horsemen with us. He's a really good guy, and we really appreciate having him around. So make sure you show your love to Chad. We really appreciate it. And as well with Boss Mama Goldie, whose duties are expanding hourly. I'm telling you what, there's so many people that are getting into this realm of the SPTV. And news for my channel, I have a lot of people coming up, and I can't put them out until we have everything signed and ready to go. But I have some big names coming up. I've talked to Chad about it. He can attest to some of the names that I've got that are going to be coming on here, and this channel is going to be growing quite a bit as we go. Some of the stuff is going to have nothing to do with Scientology, but they are very amazing. They are very amazing guests that I'm going to love having on here, and I think that you guys are going to be surprised by some of the folks I've got coming on. And that's thanks to, I know some pretty popular people, and then there are some musicians that I know, some folks I've done guitars for or friends of theirs. So we've been able to get some really good connections. I've got some big guests that are going to be coming on. Let's see, Shauna Lawnerd. I haven't seen him live in a long time, especially learned about COS through his blogs. I don't know. Let me know who that is, Shauna, who you're talking about. B Baron, thanks for your help. Oh, no problem. Folks, let me tell you, I have no college education. I am a high school graduate. I went into the military directly out of high school, came out of the military and I had some pretty egregious injuries, life-threatening injuries. Got myself back on my feet and met my wife. We moved up here to Michigan. I became a police officer and spent 3 decades as a police officer. I'm not a legal expert. I am not a social worker. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm just someone who cares. And I believe in giving you honest answers to how I feel about things. I've had people that have called me extreme rightist, extreme leftist. And I'm neither. I believe in you support everyone, you love everyone. But if I think something is dangerous or it's harmful to people, I'll tell you how I feel about it. But more than anything, I want each and every one of you to know that there are people out there that care. And you just, all you need to do is reach out. I may not be the easiest to get hold of, but, there are a lot of people on this channel who will be in the chats and they feel the same way that I do. We all just want to show that love and compassion for everyone else. So, you're not alone in things. Colonel Brock, American cars, foreign cars, preference. Of course, my father worked for General Motors for over 30 years. So of course I am a big Chevy guy, but I prefer American cars for the trucks. I'm a truck person to begin with. When it comes to sports cars, of course, my favorite car of all time when it comes to a sports car is the Lamborghini Diablo, the 97 to 99 models. As for American sports cars, I like the muscle cars. Of course, I love the Mustang Mach 1s. I love the Camaros. And who doesn't like a Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am? Pickup trucks. The more and more I'm becoming a bigger and bigger fan of the Ford F-Series. My last big truck that I had was a F-250 with the 6.0 in it. We did the full EGR delete, did the coolant filter system, stepped up on the turbo, 6-inch exhaust with no muffler. And we took a truck that was getting about 8 to 9 miles to the gallon. And after we did all that work, we were getting anywhere from 15 to 18 per gallon out of it. And it was still pulling like a Clydesdale. So yeah, American cars are my preferences as it comes to cars and trucks. With sports cars, of course, yeah, I got to go with those Italians. I did have a BMW, and I loved it until the warranty ran out, and I found out how expensive it was to get anything worked on that.
And just for the record,
Yeah, I was about to
Chad,
say, Chad, what's yours?
Chad approves of and drives electric vehicles only. Been 3 years. I haven't had one oil change, and I haven't gotten gasoline in 3 years.
Do you really have an
And,
electric car?
yep,
Do you? I didn't know
yep.
that. What do you have?
That's a Nissan Leaf.
Oh, okay, the Leaf. Yeah.
Yep.
Now, like with me, with my wife's courier service, we're literally doing 200 to 300 miles a day. That's been our biggest concern with the electric cars is being able to do those kinds of mileage on the car and then being able to have it completely charged up. How does your now? I don't know if
Yeah,
you're
that might be
doing
pushing it for
yeah,
mine's a little older, so that for my car
mm,
that'd be pushing it. You'd have to drive it for a half day and take a different car, or like a
oh, okay.
new electric car could probably pull it just fine.
Well, there are tons
Um,
of them coming out. So
yeah, so and they are getting in the 300-mile range for the brand new ones, so
when I'm
it
doing
might be
work with
doable.
the wife's courier service, literally every day I go by. There's a company called Rivian who make these trucks, and I literally drive by their headquarters and plant every day when I'm in that area. There's just I can go out right now. Like my truck is a 1985 F-150 that's been converted to diesel, um, and for me to go out and buy a new electric vehicle, they're so expensive. That's my biggest problem. And then here it is, like yesterday I drove almost 800 miles in one day's time, and there just isn't an electric car out there right now that can handle that. So
That's
that's one of my
true.
concerns. Let's be honest with you, I like changing the oil in the cars, changing the
Oh,
filters,
okay.
doing that hands-on. I like being able to hands-on work on a car. Jay Dice, SBTV verse. So the Spurs. No, if we rented a party bus, it could be the Spursers. That's pretty good. Marilyn Honig, pulling to go and Clearwater Chat. I appreciate you all so much. Oh, yeah, hon, you don't know how much we appreciate you.
Absolutely. Your group is great, Marilyn. Thank you.
Oh,
I'm really privileged to be a part of it.
you have taken exactly what I want to do with this channel and you've created it on Facebook. I think you have done an amazing job, Marilyn. Thank you so much for what you're doing. Shauna, let's see here. I modded for one of the YouTubers who was investigating deep corruption in the tri-state, Ohio, Kentucky, West Virginia area. I can't imagine how Goldie does so much for so many. She's the boss mama. That's why. Boss Goldie rocks.
Yeah.
Colonel Brock, pulling to go. I would love to tell you some of my sewer stories. Yeah, like I've said before, whenever you're ready, brother, I'm ready to bring you on. If not, we can talk privately about it. But my feeling has always been that the best way to heal is to get it out. Let's see, L. Ron Hubbard, you are a bad cop. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. There, Lafayette. Don't no hatred. So. B. Baron, it's a great thing to have an open mind and a kind heart. Thank you. You know what?
That's true.
Like I've talked about with my history with my father, I got no time for hatred. Got no time for all the negativity in the world. It's time to just be who I am and just enjoy and stop worrying about all those other negative things. That's more. I'm one of those cleaners that makes everything worse to make it better. Hey, I believe me, if you see my shop sometimes, I swear it looks like a tornado went through it. Um, let's see. Daniel Sander. How do you feel about Alan Jackson, country singer and a fat you? I don't think I look like him. I like a lot of Alan stuff. Yeah, I don't think I look like him. I am in no way that kind of good looking.
You do
So,
look like a cop, though. You do look like a police
yeah,
officer.
and it doesn't matter where I go. People see me and they're like, oh, he's a cop.
Yep.
They know that. So, Jennifer M., I would love to get your professional take on topics like Letitia Stotch, Lori Vallow, and how the investigations and those people were handled. And those are some things that I've been looking into. I mean, honestly, my life has been so daggone hectic. But yeah, you know what? Email me if you can. Email me with that, and I'll definitely take a better look into them. There's one about this family, I think in North or South Carolina, that I guess they were a bunch of murderers or something. And everybody's been wanting me to look at that. I'm just like, boy, here we go. Audiobook. Let's see. Anita Evans, I'm waiting for you to do audiobooks. Your voice is fabulous. I am having the hardest time trying to be able to submit what they call demos for like Audible and things like that. I would love to do that. Let's see here, going down here. Question, Chad, you love Greta Thunberg?
I don't really watch that much TV. I don't really watch
Do you know who Greta is?
someone on TV.
She was the teenager who got up in front of, I believe it was a World Economic Forum or something like that, and chastised them all. And her famous line is, "How dare you?" She is a climate change activist, and I really got beat up because I really said some great things about the fact that she came to the United States, and instead of taking a jet, she went on a sailboat, to find out that apparently she does go on a lot of private jets, and
Oh,
apparently she is always wearing the newest of high-end athletic clothing kind of things, and I really didn't know these things. I saw that she was she was doing all these things, and I'm not a denier of climate change. I believe that there is climate change going on. I just feel that we spent so many years with people giving us fake climate change apocalypse analogies and threats that we're at the point where a lot of people are just like, I don't care. People my age. Yeah. I heard that already. World was going to freeze over. Yeah.
Yeah. I want to go on the record real quick, and just because I did say about that, I actually do drive an electric car, but I don't dislike anyone that chooses to drive a gasoline powered car. That's a personal choice.
That was just your personal choice. You went with something, and look how much you're saving on gasoline. I know that daily I'm doing about $30 to $40 in gasoline because of how many miles I drive. So, and the car that I use for the courier service is a 2008 Kia Spectra. It's a good gas car, but man, when you're driving that many miles a day, you're still going to go through gas. Let's see, Juliana Bittencourt, cars are so expensive here in Brazil. I don't even know how much an electric one is. You know what? I can second that thought. Spending all that time that I have in Southeast Asia, especially in Thailand, where the import tax on anything like that is 300%. So you pay for the car, and then you've got to pay 3 times what you paid for the car, just in taxes and imports. And so you take you buy a car for $25,000. Well, that car just cost you $125,000. So I can understand that. Yeah, it's crazy how you do that. Let's see. That's to Anhata. All right. Let's see. We're going down here. S. Moore, we have no support system to make batteries actually beneficial. You still use fossil fuel to recharge. There's a whole lot on that category. Let me straighten my chair out.
While Poe does that, I mean, in my case, 33% of people like me do have solar panels on their roof that recharge their battery indirectly. So,
does that now? Do your solar panels bring enough power to do that?
Yeah. Yeah. Most months the bill is just the $18 interconnect fee.
We're looking for our home. We want to go the solar route, and I want to work with turbines. I would love to be able to just break away from the electric company altogether, be able to use my own electric. The biggest problem we got right now is we're finding that the solar cells that they're using currently in most of the solar panels are not very effective. They're just now starting to break into the wind usage. That's actually the problem is the law of thermodynamics. And I'm not a physicist. I'm not an engineer, but I read a lot about stuff that I'm really interested in. And I never worry about reading different opinions about things. But one of the things about, I'd looked into wind technology for a long time, and then finding out how ineffective it is, because the propellers have speed limits. If they get much faster than a certain point, they can't go beyond supersonic speed in the rotation of the propellers. There's a lot of things. We're highly inefficient in a lot of things that we're jumping into feet first. And one of the biggest problems with solar energy for a while there is it didn't create something that's called VART electricity, VART. And VART electricity is the electricity that actually pushes electric through the electric lines. Well, the solar and wind couldn't produce the kind of electricity needed to actually push that electricity through there. So you still needed some kind of fossil, nuclear, or hydroelectric fuel to power those. I truly believe in hydroelectricity, where you're just literally allowing the natural movement of water to turn turbines to create electricity. I believe in the wind power and all that. As for batteries, I think Elon Musk is really coming up with some revolutionary ways for batteries to operate and how that they're going to hold charges longer than they normally do. There's a lot of people that are working on that, but the main thing is right now to make batteries, especially the nickel cadmiums and those, you use cobalt. And if you look at what's going on in Africa right now, where they're literally, it's almost like a genocide kind of thing. And they're using children to mine for cobalt, children that are being poisoned. People are dying by the day just so that we have batteries for our cell phones. And I think not only is that absolutely selfish, but I think that, when someone says, hey, we only use this or that. Well, what about the people who died to make those for you? What about the land that is forever poisoned by the after effects of mining for that? You look down in South America where you have folks that are mining for gold, and they're using mercury to help to separate the gold from the dirt and the rock and the water. And where's all that mercury going when they're done? Are they just dumping on the ground? What's going on? Look at strip mining. Look at all the different effects that mining has had. And we're doing those same things just to bring the minerals out of the ground to make batteries. So we need a whole lot of advancements in a lot of different areas to be able to do things. And it's, that's the way I feel about that. I mean, we're so far behind the curve, and, we're patting ourselves on the back. We're doing this, we're doing that, but we're so far behind. And yeah, you might have a green technology that you're using, but what kind of damage did it do to the earth to create that green technology? So, we have to look at things at an equal level, not just, from one-sided on it. Shauna Law Nerd, on a grow, you do look like a cop. Yeah, I know.
Yep, verified fact.
Especially when my hair's cut, I always keep it cut very short. I always no hair on the sides. Let's get on down here.
The ultra legendary Doug Scott Kramer's in the chat, by the way.
What's that?
Doug Scott Kramer's in the chat.
Oh, is he? Where is he?
Yeah, he's floating around there. Hi, Doug.
What's up, Doug? Let's see here. Doug, I'm gonna send you an email real quick. So amazing how this stuff works. I can literally sit here on a live stream.
Yep.
And email one of the people who's in the chat.
It's always good to hear from Doug.
Yeah, we love Doug here. He's one of the four horsemen. He's one of our crew. So let's see here. Let me get back down through some of these. Maryland Honda. I don't know about electric cars, but there have been a lot of solar panel and wind power scams around my area in New England. Not just there, here in Michigan as well, where you have these companies that are putting together. I don't know what's going on with my chair today. I swear, if that kid of mine got in here and messed around with the settings on my chair. There's a lot of, anytime there's a chance to make money, the unfortunate thing is you're going to have scammers. And my favorite one is that you can get solar power for your home and the government will pay you back for it. Well, yeah, there are certain things that they will give you for it, certain breaks and taxes and things like that. But when you're putting a $50,000 solar panel setup on your home, I don't think it's exactly going to be paid off by tax breaks.
Okay, so
go ahead.
Not the side streaming, but we're going to have to do a special stream on the benefits of solar power and electric cars. And Chad does respect anyone that doesn't like this stuff.
I think Chad should do a video showing off his car and how it works. And
that's a good idea.
Lily Rose, my son is an electrician and says those wind farms are a joke. Don't produce enough electricity to charge a phone. It all depends. And you also got to think about how many birds and things like that have been killed by them. How many of them have just spontaneously combusted? And we've all seen the videos where they're literally on fire. I like some of the new technology that's coming out where it's considered a bladeless system. And instead of having the big, huge propeller type blades on them, they have a contained unit, and the air literally comes through the bottom and works its way out through the top, and it uses pressurization to move everything, and it used like a centrifugal fan to move it, to do it. It's pretty good. Let's see. Does fracking cause earthquakes? I have to think so. I have to think that anytime that you go in and you're breaking open the bedrock to get at these natural gases, I just don't know. I do not know if they're pumping water in there, if they can pump water in at the pressure rate that would be strong enough to actually fill in that space without causing earthquakes. I just know this. You have an area where they didn't have earthquakes for years. They start fracking and suddenly they start having earthquakes. You know, walks like a duck, talks like a duck, quacks like a duck. That's how I feel about those things. Annie Kurtz, Poe, you said it. And our own Congress killed mining cobalt here cleanly. Actually, the Bureau of Land Management refused the applications for the mining that would allow for the cobalt mining here in the States. The thing about it is, if they opened it up to cobalt mining here in the States, what you would have is a safer, well, you would have a safer, cleaner mining of it. And you would have, with the way that people are nowadays about ecology, about the making sure that we're not killing our environment, the people that would be safeguarding and watchdogging the mining, I can tell you what, it's not going to be anything like what you see in Africa, and it's still profitable. And I know a lot of these companies, well, if we have to put all these things in place, we, we're just not going to make money. You're not going to make the kind of money that your investors want. And their thoughts are, who cares who dies and who cares what we do to the earth? I mean, I've never seen a shareholders meeting where they actually set up and go, well, how does this make people feel? So yeah, that was the Bureau of Land Management did that, and then they've been proven through the congressional hearings that they've actually been lying about things. What's more, solar and wind can't provide base power, whereas nuclear can. Nuclear is also green. Exactly, and that was what I was getting at with the VART the VART current, or the VART electricity, whatever they call it, and that's the thing. Getting on down here, to see what we got. There you go. Okay, yep, I sent it. Let me make sure I sent it. Yep, I sent it out to you, Doug. So, some wind farms in Vermont have unfortunately destroyed animal habitats, and then power companies sold the wind power to Canada instead of benefiting locals. Okay, well, let's talk about the lie of the grid. There are 4 power plants that I can personally think of right here in my vicinity. We have the nuclear power plant. We have 2 coal burning plants. We have a natural gas plant, and we have a plant that uses exhausts from a steel mill to produce the steam for the turbines in their system, and that's a different kind of turbine than the wind turbines. None of them produce electricity for here in the Detroit area. That electricity is going to Ohio. It's going into other states. And so what's going on with that is we're sending electricity out. The people in that area are producing electricity coming back to us. What sense does that make whatsoever? I have no idea, but that's one of the problems why, if one part of our grid goes down, how easy it is for the whole grid to start collapsing piece by piece. I've never understood this. To me, it seems like it's just a big monopoly and a big collusive kind of thing. I have no, these electric companies, I have no use for them. That's why I want to get on my own and not have to do it. And talking about destruction of habitat, on our way back from Florida, just this last few weeks ago, we were down in Florida. On our way back, we saw a stretch hundreds and hundreds of acres of forest land completely cut down so that they could put in solar farms. You destroyed green to go green. I don't get it. This whole going green thing seems more of a badge of honor kind of thing for some people than actuality. And I love the fact here it is in Michigan. We have Detroit Edison, and we have the CEO of Detroit Edison coming on in his commercials telling us how they're going over to solar power and they're going to be infusing that into Detroit Edison and that we're going to feel the pinch initially as a consumer. Wait a minute. So we're already paying you for electricity. You're making huge amounts of money off of that electricity. Now we're going to have to pay for you to build solar farms so you could produce electricity for free, and you didn't even have to pay for the infrastructure to put it together. That we should feel good about the fact that we're doing this for you. How about you don't make millions of dollars a year as a CEO, and you start spreading that wealth down to your employees, let them start making better living. You don't have a golden parachute, and maybe you don't force the people who are your customers, who are effectively the product that you're using. How about you don't make us pay for everything that you want to do? I'm sure when you go home to your multi-million-dollar mansion at the end of the day, that's one of the biggest concerns is how did your actions affect us? Nah, I don't think so. That's why I want nothing to do with these electric companies. SPTV TV Tattoo Warrior for the 16-year-old girl couldn't find out how she died because she arrived at the morgue and 8 different bags. Wow. Email me about what that's about, SPTV Tattoo Warrior. There we go. Annie Kurtz. I love alternative energy, but I don't like being lied to. It's like Scientology. Don't trust it. You couldn't have said it any better. Thank you very much. What about sea-based wave generators? I don't know a lot about those. You got to remember, I live in Michigan, which I am hundreds of miles away from the nearest oceans. But from what I'm seeing, they look good. The problem is the stability and longevity of them so far. Unfortunately, anything that's put into salt water, it just basically gets eaten away as it goes. So yeah, if they can find a way to make them to where that they're not collapsing in 5 years due to the salt eroding the structure, then I think they would be perfect. It's like they talk about in California that we're having a drought. We have a water problem. You don't have a water problem. You're a coastal state. You have a salt problem. And guess what? There are machines out there that desalinate water. So there are ways of taking water from the ocean, taking the salt out of it, and actually producing the water that you need for the people to survive. And I don't understand why they have it. I mean, Saudi Arabia, countries over in the Middle East that are, barren desert type countries, they build these kinds of desalination plants, and they're able to provide water for their people. So it's there. The ability to do it is there. I just don't understand when they say we're coming into a drought and we have no way of producing water. There's ways of doing it.
If they could do it, we could do it 10 times better.
Yeah, Saudi Arabia got a whole lot of money. Let's see, getting down through here. From a poet, we have nuclear and hydropower here in Arkansas. My bill is usually pretty reasonable. And the thing is, the crazy thing about it is with the nuclear power, it's literally taking these rods and immersing they have them in a chamber. The chamber opens up, allowing water in. The water superheats, turns the steam, turns the turbines, cools down, turns back into water, goes back into the chamber. And it's amazing how it works. And it works excellently. Hydropower, most of the time it works with a damming system. And literally what they do is they open up a gate. The gate allows the water to flow through, and it turns the turbines to make the electricity. Very, very simple, very, very easy to operate, very easy to maintain. The nuclear stuff, of course, you have to, there's a lot of security involved, and there's a lot of other things that have to be taken care of because of the radioactive components of it. But unless you have something like what happened in Japan when they had the tsunami that come through, they, for the most part, high nuclear electricity is considered very safe and very reliable. Lily Rose, they want everyone to depend on electricity, but when the grid goes down, what do we do next? Well, a perfect example of that, Lily, is you have the governor of California, and I forget what his name is, and forgive me, the things that are coming out of California are killing me. But you have the governor of California telling people that by this time and this year, no one will be allowed to drive gasoline vehicles. It has to be electric only. And first off, how are you going to be able to do that when most people can't afford to buy an electric vehicle in the first place? Second part you have is that your grid system right now, you're telling people you can't run your air conditioner in the summertime because it's brown. They're having brown blackouts throughout the grid system. And exactly what you're saying is we don't have a grid system in place, and we don't have the electricity production that we need to fully step up to this. And it's one of those things where it feels like they put the cart before the horse. Yay, we've got this. We know what we're doing. And we just don't know how to put it in place and make it actually work. And it's your fault that we can't do that. So, that's one of my problems with it. I fully support the fact that we have the ability to start going green, have the electric vehicles. They are much more efficient. And, I love the sound of a V8 engine. I love the feel of a V8 engine. Riding in a Lamborghini Diablo and feeling that thing as you're running through the gears on that's almost a religious experience. I just can't see you fully going away from gas-powered cars, completely, because it's such an amazing thing. Colonel Brock, any thoughts on the reparations debate here in California? There's a whole lot going on that. That's one of those political topics I normally don't get into. Plus, you also have to remember, as someone being part of the Native American community, we also have our own different thoughts about reparations. Let's see, Jay Dice. There are very safe types of nuclear power available. It's the best alternative. I don't know about best, because anytime you're talking about radiation, and the fact is if you start looking into what's going on, you look in Missouri school districts, Montana, all these different states where they're now finding radioactive isotopes that have come out of nuclear experiments, even from the Manhattan Project, that are showing up right next to schools and in waterways and things like that. That's where our government doesn't have the best track record of securing nuclear properties. So that's one of the things that worries me. But I can say that the continual testing of the nuclear power plant near where I live, and finding that there is little to no residual radiation that's being found anywhere in the area around it. Yeah, I agree on that it seems to be a very safe alternative. Shauna P. Law Nerd. Paul Nago, SP TV Tattoo Warrior, is discussing the vow. Oh, okay. Excellent. Thank you, Shauna. I appreciate that. London Calling. It's like being told you'll be interviewing Tony and then no. Tony just hasn't shown up. And I'm hoping that he's okay. And I'm hoping it's just one of those situations where he may have had some kind of breaking news that he had to cover. So, I do apologize, but, I'd been in talks with Tony, and we'd set this up a couple weeks ago. So I have to feel that there's something happened that he's not going to be able to do it. Tony Cameron, floating wind farms of the Northeast Scottish coast area annoyed a former U.S. president, said it destroyed the view from his golf course. I thought they looked great out in the sea. I have to disagree with you. I think they're absolutely hideous. And then watching the fact that so many of them actually are, anything that you put in the sea, it ends up in one way or another, ends up rusting and falling into the sea. But yeah, I look over into Canada, into Ohio, to see these farms out there. I don't find them attractive at all. I find them more of a blight, and the fact that we know that they aren't as good as they promised us they would be. That, I'm not a big fan of the big windmill things. Let's see here. Annie Kurtz. And now you know why they want to kill the Great Lakes, poison fresh water tables in the U.S. and salt the land so they can buy their bottled water. Watch the water. Well, let's be honest. Which Nestle or Hershey or one of them just signed this huge contract with the state of Michigan where they're going to be able to pump as much water as they want out of the Great Lakes and use that for bottled water. And we're not getting hardly anything for it, but they're going to make billions and billions of dollars. So you got to wonder who's making the money off of that. Rock it out with Kim D. Hay. My brother has worked as a nuclear power plant operator for 30 years. Awesome. I'd love, he probably has an NDA, but if he can talk, I'd love to hear, about the safety of these nuclear power plants. Let's see here.
That'd be interesting.
What did the fish say when it swam into? Damn. But the thing is that we look at things about the invasive species that we have in this country for the longest time. I've never understood why President Obama refused to allow the measures to stop the Asian carp from entering into the Great Lakes. Once we get the Asian carp in the Great Lakes, it's done. It's going to start killing off the majority of the sport fish or the fish that come out of the Great Lakes, your walleye, all your different kinds of fish that are fished out of the Great Lakes. And we know that if they get there, they're being stopped at Lake Michigan by they have electric dams in place right now that are stopping them from getting into the lakes. For all we know, they're probably already there. You look at the zebra mussels. When the zebra mussels first got here, everybody thought, oh my goodness, this is going to be horrible. Within a couple of years' time, the zebra mussels had literally cleaned the lakes up, and the lakes were doing great, including like the Detroit River. Then we started having huge growths of plant life that were clogging up the rivers and the lakes. And now we're starting to have the red algae problems coming in Lake Erie, in the Toledo area, where it's literally poisonous water with red algae in it. So, I mean, invasive species cause a lot of damage to our environment. Jay Dice, when I heard something, I checked out at the library when I was home, and I looked at environmental ads of the 80s. Small print shows funding the power company, the oil company. Yeah, it was interesting. It used to be back in the day that these power companies they got their money from selling the electricity they were making. And the problem is that they've grown larger and larger and larger. And instead of just being your local power plant doing it, now they're this huge conglomerate, Detroit Edison, Con Edison, consumers, all these different groups, and they're all nonprofits. But amazingly, as far as I know, most of them have shareholders. So you're a nonprofit with shareholders. How does that work? So, and could I be wrong? I could be wrong. But last I heard, many of them have shareholders. Why do you have a CEO who makes millions of dollars running a nonprofit? It's just like I was watching a video about a CEO of a company where she makes millions of dollars a year. She got her multi-million-dollar yearly bonus, but got angry at the employees who were like, wait a minute, we're not getting our bonuses this year. We're working our butts off and we're not getting our bonuses. Where's our money at? And the CEO is basically like, you need to stop crying. And, of course, she got to keep her multi-million-dollar bonus. Folks, I am going to end this. I do apologize. We were waiting for Tony to get in here. I still haven't received anything. We'll see how it goes with that, but I will be back at 8:00. The topic will be police impersonators. And I think you will find that to be an extremely interesting live stream as we talk about police impersonators and what they do. So as always, folks, make it count. And I appreciate each and every one of you.